Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Nik and RD here, back with another episode of Meet the Taco Plebs. And today, I got RD BTC with me. He's one of the meme masters on Twitter, and he's been heavily recommended to me by a few different people to come on the show. So, RD, thanks for coming on the show, and what's up?
Hi, Nick. Thanks for having me, mate.
The way I see it is I associate you a lot with Greg, the other BTC memer on Twitter. You guys just constantly crank out good quality memes like every single day, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Greg, give Greg a shout out. Yeah, he's a great guy, great fun. We're quite often bouncing some ideas off each other as well, and yeah, we have a lot of fun, actually, me and Greg.
That's awesome to hear.
Shout out to him, yeah.
So let's just hop right into it and get people to know you better. How did you find Bitcoin, and what's your rabbit hole story?
Well, basically, I think I spent about a year on a few different audio books. So it's a year, maybe longer. And I was like trying to get to the bottom of the banking crisis, just like what was wrong. Like I knew something was wrong, but I had no idea what it was. Just generally, I sort of had this kind of feeling about inflation. It didn't feel right, but I couldn't comprehend it. So I was going through different things, and I was even going through quite a bit of sort of socialism, like looks of how to, run a state or whatever, and that wasn't really hitting the spot for me, to be honest. But I liked like the compassion of it always felt like socialism was more compassionate, to look after the poor and provide all these things, and I like the feel of that sort of compassionate side. But like I said, it wasn't quite hitting the spot. And then my orange pill moment was I downloaded an audiobook which you guys over in the States won't know of, because I'm pretty sure it didn't get released over there. But it was called Bitcoin: The Future of Money, and it was by an author called Dominic Frisby. And although he's more well known over here in the UK, by the way, it not necessarily for Bitcoin stuff, but other things that he's done. But anyway, he wrote that book. I downloaded it, and I literally listened to like the first 10-15 minutes of the first chapter in my car, and I just went, wow, this is it. And I literally just jumped out my car, went in my house, and like downloaded the first Bitcoin exchange app I could find that had reasonable reviews and seemed reputable, and literally just started, bought like my first 50 quid's worth, and that was it. That was my first step into the rabbit hole. That was in 2017, October the 1st, 2017. And I literally, I just, all of a sudden the penny dropped, and it was like, this is what I've been looking for. This is the answer. And then the more I then dug into it, and the more I learned about it and about money, because that's the bit I was missing. It was what money was, and the ethics of money, and what money should be and what it shouldn't be. And then literally finding Bitcoin sent me on that journey to really, grasping I'm going to say a better understanding, because it's almost like you never fully understand it. It's like the bottom of the rabbit hole, and you never really get there. So yeah.
What exactly was the ebook saying in the first 10 to 15 minutes that really grabbed your attention?
I can't remember now. But it was really profound. I feel a bit ashamed that I can't remember exactly what it said, but honestly, it was literally just those first 10, 15 minutes, just blew my mind, and that was it. It just all of it. I obviously finished the audiobook. I think I finished it in about 2 or 3 days, I think, because I was hooked, and then listened to it again. And I think I've listened to that audiobook more than any other audiobook that I own. And I've been through quite a few of, I think, pretty much all of the Bitcoin audiobooks that there are. I'm a bit of a geek for them, but yeah, honestly, I wish I could remember exactly what's in it, but yeah, it was really good, and it got me on the path to being a Bitcoin maximalist now, really. So yeah.
I'm gonna have to go look for that book and see if I can somehow get it here in the States, or at least the audiobook of it, because I want to show it to some people, because if it only takes 10 to 15 minutes for you to, fly down the rabbit hole, like, I want to show that to some people.
Yeah. Well, the other part of it was that I've been watching Kaiser Report for years and years, and obviously Max Kaiser have been talking about it a lot. Before 2017, he'd been talking about it a lot already. And yeah, it was on my radar, but I had no idea what it was. If I I think I'd even downloaded that audiobook like 6 weeks before I even listened to it. And I wish I'd got to it earlier, but that's the way it is, and I'm cool with that.
So it seems like once you had that light bulb moment, your life kind of changed, and you started going down the rabbit hole and learning more and more. And my next question is, how has Bitcoin changed you and your life personally?
I'd say the biggest difference it's made for me is lowering my time preference, like, massively. So I've generally been quite a patient person anyway, but Bitcoin teaches you to be even more patient, and the other thing it's affected, it's like I've never, like a lot of young people when they come out of school, and like, you just don't get any financial education, and I spent 10 years just completely devastating my financial status, really. I was just so reckless, and banks were throwing debt at me, left, right, and centre, and I just got completely swamped in it. And then I sorted all that out way before I found Bitcoin. But when I found Bitcoin, and when I found a tool that I could actually use to save, it made such a difference. Because before, all this debt, and like I always say, like, debt, one of the hidden things of debt is it can really hurt you mentally. Like, kind of going off on a tangent here, really, but what I'm trying to say is that one thing that I've always complained about is student debt. I didn't get any student debt, but having been in debt myself and knowing how that debt feels when it's hanging over you for years and years, and I know they say, oh, student debt, you don't have to pay it off until you've done this, but at the end of the day, it's still debt, and it's still hanging over you, and it can be quite, it's really, I can't find the word, but it does really, damage you psychologically. It holds you back as well, So, yeah, it's changed me because it's taught me how to save, how to be more financially responsible, lowered my time preference, and I'm always trying to not be happy but be content. And financially, I feel more content than I've ever felt in my life since finding Bitcoin.
So, on the school and debt thing,
Yeah.
so I have my own opinions on it. Why do you
Mm-hmm.
think there is such a lack of education about money and financials in school? Do you think, because I always see it as they don't want you to know,
Oh yeah.
how the money works, and right as you turn of age, that where you're an adult, they can start
Mm-hmm.
throwing debt at you from all angles. Like I know here, as soon as I
Yeah.
turned a legal adult, which is 18, I was getting
Yeah.
phone calls, text messages, emails, and physical mail from my bank asking me to
Yeah.
take out credit cards, student loan debt, and even vacation debt. Like, do you know how
Yeah.
like predatory that is? Like
Yeah.
messaging a young kid who's about to graduate from high school, asking them, "Hey, do you want to
Yeah.
go to the Bahamas this year? Well, just take
Yeah.
out a loan
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
us if you can't afford it." It's so messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm on exactly the same page as you there, Nick. I'm very resentful to the banks for how they treated me, and not just me, you as well. Everyone. It is so aggressive. You come out, like you said, you turn an adult, and you want to be an adult, and you want to have all the things that an adult has, and then all this debt's being thrown at you. It's like the temptation is too much, especially when you're that age. You just can't. It's so hard to say no when you're that age. You want the fast car, you want the holidays, you want the cool clothes and everything. And yeah, like you said, predatory. It's just evil. It's like I just look. I did a meme actually where like I took like a image of like the devil, sort of like holding the planet, and I put the text on it like debt slavery. I think I put on it fiat debt slavery. I think I put, and it was I thought it was a really powerful meme. It was quite popular, but it when I looked at it, when I did it, I just thought that's really powerful, and that really allowed me to express how I felt about debt, basically fiat money and debt in one small image. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is evil, like you said. And the reason why it's evil is because they know exactly what they're doing, and
Yeah.
they are trying to make it seem like it's the right thing to do. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, you have to go to school because you have to get an education, take out debt, Oh, like you can't be driving around without a car, you can't be moving around without
Mm-hmm.
a car or like a bad car. Might as well just, take out debt to get a nice car. And like the whole thing about you'll get a nice job and pay it off later, don't worry about it, it's just total bullshit to me. And
Yeah. It's the
yeah.
same. It's the same attitude they have towards public debt. Do you know what I mean? Oh, well, the next generation will pay it off. It's just outrageous. It's just so irresponsible. And yeah, and it's just facilitated by the banks. Let's get rid of them, man.
I'm for it. So leading into my next question is Bitcoin, in my opinion, fixes a lot of those problems and fixes
Yeah.
a lot more. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty amazing. But what is the most amazing thing about Bitcoin personally to you?
I think it's hope, and I know that gets bandied around a lot at the moment, especially since Michael Saylor has really been pushing that. But personally, I was way down the rabbit hole before Michael Saylor came along, and I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think what an absolute fantastic ambassador, for Bitcoin, because he speaks so well and clearly and decisively, and for him to release, all that information and education, if you like, on Bitcoin on the hope.com domain just is brilliant. So good. So yeah, it's hope. It just, I think, a lot of people, especially a lot of people that I know through Bitcoin, we always say, how desperate would we be without Bitcoin? How down and hopeless we'd be without Bitcoin. So it's got to be that for me. It's hope that we can sort this shit out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Michael Saylor's a great dude. I love how he launched the Saylor Academy, and
Yep.
he's giving away, an actual college education, probably better than college education, for free. And
Yeah.
I think that ties into what we were talking about earlier with the student loan debt. Is a lot of kids may start saying, I don't want to take out $100,000 in student loan debt when I can go to Saylor Academy and get it for free.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's going to revolutionize education. And, something I've been thinking about since reading The Sovereign Individual was how much future schools have got and higher education, how much future is there in that. And, from my point of view, especially with things like what Michael Saylor's doing and saying, it's going to change it. It's going to change it in a big way, and more people. This pandemic situation is just going to fast forward it even more, and more people are going to turn to online education like that. And it's going to make a big impact, I think.
I totally agree. And just to touch on another point that you mentioned, I have no idea what I'd be doing if, Bitcoin wasn't around. If I had never heard about Bitcoin, would I be as, high time preference as everyone else? Would I be in debt? Or like if I did know about the failing financial system, would I be buying gold? I always think, or not always, I often think how my perspective would change if I was a gold bug. Would I, be so heavy into gold because it's the only option? But then I'd be really worried about, gold has failed as money multiple times through our history. So there's really nothing else, Yeah, it just makes me think.
I had sort of thought about gold a bit, because especially watching Kaiser Report for quite a few years, Max had been talking about gold for quite a while. But the thing with gold for me that's never clicked was that we're moving in fast forward into this digital age, and gold isn't fit for purpose in a digital age. It's a lump of rock. It couldn't be any further from the digital age. So yeah, I don't think that it ever would have I ever would have got sort of hooked on gold, if you like. It never really appealed to me, and never will. But we got something way better. So much better.
Yeah, I highly agree with that. Especially, kids my age, I'm only 21. No one my age cares about gold. No one really wants it. Like the only people who do are the people who want to wear it as jewelry. No one wants to actually store their value in it or, spend it as money. Like I know Peter Schiff always says, "Oh, well, you can't spend Bitcoin, blah blah blah." I have seen quite a few stores in my local town where you can spend Bitcoin, or there's an app that you can spend via Bitcoin. I mean, it changes it into the US dollar comparison, but still, like you can, if you really wanted to, you could spend your Bitcoin like that. You can't do that with gold. Like I've never seen a store that accepts gold, like an average everyday store.
Yeah, and it's that'll grow even more. But like where we are, we're so early. it's the last thing I want to spend right now is my Bitcoin.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean? I really don't want to touch that. But yeah, and there's something else you said there, and I've forgotten what I was going to say to it. So yeah, that's frustrating, but it was a good point.
Well, I'm sure you'll remember it sometime. But
yeah.
So with all the stuff that's going on in the world, there's a lot of stuff happening in 2020. I know a lot of people have started to fall down the rabbit hole this year and get red pilled and orange pilled. But what is your best Bitcoin pitch, and how would you explain that to someone? I know everyone kind of has their own, or they need their own unique pitch, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, so I was kind of talking about this the other day to another Bitcoiner, and I don't have one pitch or one strategy, because in my day-to-day job, I come across people from all kinds of different backgrounds. So, one job, I'm in a, 2-bedroom house with, someone who's much lower down, the class range, if you like. And then my next job, I could be in like a huge mansion, working for them. So because I'm coming into contact with all different people from all different walks of life, and it's quite unique, really. What I'm trying to say is that I approach each person differently, and what I try to do now is not bring up Bitcoin until I get them to question what's wrong with what's going on right now. So basically, with the devaluing of our currencies, inflation in that form, and I kind of I just push to get them to question what's wrong. If you can get them to that point to understanding what's wrong, then you can drop Bitcoin into the conversation and say, this is the alternative. This is something different. This is something that can't be devalued. This is something that's, secure, revolutionary, an effective saving tool. And that's how I do it, because and I do find it hard, because all they know is either that it's a scam, that it's a get rich quick scheme. They've hardly scratched the surface, and even when they do scratch the surface, they're normally only seeing the fact that it's gonna make you rich. Your number go up, and then when I see them thinking about it and start asking all the questions, I'm thinking, well, I've really got to crawl right back out the rabbit hole here to start answering these questions that you start asking right at the top, because I'm so far down it. When they start asking me these questions, it's like, this is the sort of stuff I was thinking about 2.5 years ago. So yeah, that's how I do it. And that, like, one of the main things I throw in there right at the start is avoid the shit coins. They're just noise. Don't even forget about them. Imagine they're not even there, because they're not important. And that's one of the most important things I install in them. As soon as they've made that decision to buy, I say, all those shit coins, ignore them. And
that's really good advice.
Yeah.
So when you bring that up, like, and you're talking about like, oh well, here's a solution to those problems, and you say Bitcoin, do you ever get people, or how do people take it? Do they say, oh really, tell me more, or are they like rolling their eyes and saying, oh, this dude's bringing up Bitcoin, that's scam?
Well, I'm in a unique position where, so I basically fix people's computers. That's what my day-to-day job is. And so wherever I am, I'm in somebody's house or business fixing their computer. So already if I bring up Bitcoin, they know immediately, because of its tech, connection, that I know more than them on it. Do you know what I mean? So you get some people that are still going to be, whatever, not interested. But most people will have questions, because all they've ever done is read the FUD. That's all they know. They've just read the FUD. They haven't gone into it. They haven't scratched past the surface. And then when they got someone in front of them that actually seems to know quite a bit about it, then the questions start flowing. And actually, their questions has also driven me to learn more about it, because I didn't, sometimes they'd ask me a question, I'll go, wow, that's a really good question, and I don't actually know the answer to that. So if that ever happened, I'd go away and I'll be like going through as many podcasts or audio books, just to find the answer to that question, or even reaching out to people on Twitter and just saying, look, I got asked this question the other day and I didn't know the answer to it. So can you help me out? And of course, everyone on Twitter is just brilliant, aren't they? They're just going to help you out every which way, it seems like. So yeah, that's how it is. I'm always, every answer I give you is a really long answer in it.
No, it's perfect, dude. One thing I wanted to touch on is the helpfulness of everyone on Bitcoin Twitter. It's amazing. Like, any problem you have, they will provide a solution for you.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I was just, my mind was blown just, reaching out to people and asking questions, and it's kind of like starstruck in the beginning, where you just, oh, come on, I'll ping a message to Robert Breedlove, he might answer, and sure enough he does, and it's like, wow. So that blew my mind, and just literally everyone, it's like it's so cool, and just everyone sort of, yes, a sense of community is what you get from it. And it's something you don't get very much elsewhere, especially online. So yeah, it's brilliant. Love it.
Yeah, you can literally reach out to just about anyone in Bitcoin, and they'll respond. And I think I've seen some people express their fears that in the future, when Bitcoin makes these massive price increases, and we're hitting 200K, 300K, 400K, that Bitcoin Twitter is going to get so saturated and overrun with people that it won't be like that anymore. So I've seen a lot of people say, like, enjoy it, as much as you can now before that happens, or if it does happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it much. I am always optimistic anyway. Like the glass is always half full for me, and I'm optimistic that the community will just stay stronger than any other community. Do you know what I mean? I just believe it will. I think the foundation is there. So I'm hopeful that it doesn't get diluted and ruined, because everyone that comes in, is being educated by the foundation, and then they're then the next wave, and then they'll hopefully be the same towards the next wave, and the cycle, the halving cycles will bring each one will bring another wave of strengthened community. That's how I like to look at it anyway. I hope so.
That's awesome. And we've just hit the 30-minute mark, so I want to ask you just one more question. What is your price prediction for New Year's 2021 and the fourth halving?
I'll be honest, like timings, who knows? Who knows? So just for fun, I think I'm gonna base this on, the the most bearish Bitcoiners are saying 50 to 100,000, and the most bullish are saying over 300,000. So I've got a feel for about 200 to 250,000. That's where I think it'll probably, just because it's in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And then what price will we be at the halving? I don't know, maybe something like 70, 90, something between 70 and 90,000 maybe. So I don't know what market cap that would leave us at, but that'd be pretty, be maybe over the trillion, maybe. Not quite sure. I've done the maths. Or math. Yeah, that'd probably be about what I'd say. Just not basing it on any science, just instinct.
I like that. I really want to thank you for coming on the show. I really enjoyed this talk and can't wait to talk more in the future. For the viewers listening, where can they find you? RD_BTC on Twitter. I think if you put either in, you'll find me. I am on Instagram, but Instagram's a good place to go to see all my memes, because I really use that as like a catalogue, really. So all my memes are on Instagram. It's easy just to see them all, but on Twitter it's so hard to find stuff that you posted like months ago. So yeah, mainly Twitter. I mostly engage on Twitter. I don't really engage on Instagram. And yeah, if anyone wants to follow me, and if you see a meme that I do that you like, please retweet it. That's the best thing. Yeah, just thanks for having me on, Nick. Like, I'm just totally humbled by anyone that wants to hear what I've got to say, basically. Well, you've said a lot of great stuff throughout this podcast, so I'm sure you'll be invited to do a lot more podcasts by a lot of different people. If you've made it to the end of the video, leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below, as well as follow RD on Bitcoin Twitter. His link will be in the description, and I'll see you guys next week with a brand new guest. Peace.
Hold on to the pavements. Hate me, love me, for grateful recognition. Heard the man's like